You get stale.
Popcorn.
You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. I'm your host, Steven, and with me, as always, is my co-host, not that he has one, receding hairline. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Robin Hood, King of Steves.
Ah, nice. I hate that movie, but good reference. I like it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Christopher, should we just forego the pleasantries and dive into some movie news, or...
Yeah.
Do you want to pretend to act like we care about each other?
No, let's not beat around the bush here, Steve. And
okay. Well, we got quite the show for you. We got some movie news, and if you want to skip around, take a jaunt to different topics, timestamps are below. But Chris, I'll start if you don't mind.
yeah, go for it, Steve.
Chris, who would you say is your favorite Hollywood Tom?
Not Tom Hanks, not Tom Cruise, not Tom Holland, maybe Thomathan Hardy.
Ooh.
Or Thomas the Train.
That's always a good choice, but sorry to disappoint, but we got plenty of Tom Holland news that I got for you.
Come on.
Such Tom Holland news. I got so much Tom news for you.
All right, let's hear it.
Tom Holland has been cast in Christopher Nolan's next movie, set to release in July 2026, rumored to take place in the 1920s about vampires.
Ooh, are we going to get
yes.
a interview with the vampire action?
Here's hoping, yeah. On the Tom Holland topic, he is rumored to return as Spider-Man in Spider-Man 4 and in Doomsday and Secret Wars, so he's got those coming. And also, he's got some more movies coming up. He will portray an actor-dancer, Fred Astaire, in his biopic directed by one Paul King. So, question for you, Chris. Of those, I think, 4 projects that we mentioned, which one are you looking forward to most?
Give me Chris Knoll.
Chris Knoll?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. People are kind of disappointed about that, having Tom and Chris team up, but I say, why not?
Yeah,
and
why
also
are you disappointed?
yeah.
He made it work with Harry Styles, man.
Sure, yeah. And also, it's about, in the 1920s, about vampires, sure.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I'm convinced Tom's a vampire himself.
Sure, that ageless freak.
Yes, exactly.
Well, speaking about vampires, Christopher.
Oh, yes. That's called the segue.
Look at that. I'm doing a U.
Yes.
Marvel's Blade, starring Mahershala Ali,
yes.
is delayed indefinitely.
Oh, wow. All right.
So it's been removed from the 2025 lineup. Sorry to disappoint.
Did they give a release year for Nolan's?
Nolan's is 2026.
Oh, are they trying to double up, pull a prestige illusionist situation here? Or what are they doing with these vampires?
Who's to say, but I think you missed the point of the last one, which is Blade is canceled, pretty much.
It's canceled?
Yes.
I thought you just said it was delayed.
Which pretty much means it's canceled. It's not on any slate. Mahershala Ali has not been talking about it. Kevin Feige's dodging bullets about it, so...
Oh, come on.
More likely than not, yeah. Yeah, it's...
That's just racist somehow, right? Right?
Somehow, yeah.
We can make a protest about that and get the movie going, because that's one of the few I was kind of looking forward to, Steve.
Yeah, me too. If of all the ones, Mahershala Ali, I think he would make a great Blade, but along with that, it's kind of a 2-part news. Predator Badlands will be taking the release date of said Blade movie. So pretty much nail in the coffin that it's not happening anytime soon.
Why can't we just merge them together, get a vampires versus predators going here?
You know, if studios would play nice, I would watch that as many times as your wife watches things in theaters, Christopher.
Yeah, come on.
Let's get a petition going. I got some Dune news, Christopher.
Ooh, yes.
So Hans Zimmer's score for Dune Part 2 has been disqualified from the award consideration Oscars.
Oh.
Yes, because it, quote, includes music from Dune Part 1, violating the rules that require original compositions for eligibility. So apparently he sampled a bit of his own music too much, and the Oscars were like, no thank you, good sir. I call foul, because it's a great soundtrack. I liked it better than the first one, if I'm being honest here.
I don't really remember a difference per se, but I liked them both.
Yeah, I think they're really good. You got that one lady going, hi. Staying on the topic of June, huge news for early birds. As Denis Villeneuve says, Dune Messiah will include more worms.
Wow.
Yes, so more worms this time around.
Wow, huge news. for those
Huge.
birds.
Also, director Denis Villeneuve says Messiah could arrive sooner than previously anticipated. He says he treats the first two Dunes as a single masterpiece and plans a fresh approach for Messiah. Despite needing a break, time differences between Dune books to play to Villeneuve's advantage. So he's saying that he's trying to make it happen a lot faster, which is always good news for us Dune fans. So I'm looking forward to the third one, as I assume you are too, Christopher?
Yeah, I like the last one, and I like the first one.
Yeah.
I like the last one more than the first one, so therefore I shall like the third one more than the second, which I like more than the first. So what I'm saying is I can't wait for the fourth one.
Sure, if they ever make it. What you got, Chris?
Well, Dune Prophecy, you heard of this?
Oh, the TV show, yes.
That's coming out November on HBO.
Oh, boy.
Going off on Dune, Denis Villeneuve reveals his plans to make Dune Messiah sooner than he thought he would.
Is this a bit?
Yeah, I'm just...
What's wrong
I'm
with
just
you?
taking a joke here.
It's like, I mean, I know sometimes you don't listen to me, but
Yeah,
come
I was
on.
like, well, I got one for you. First poster for Karate Kid Legends, starring Jackie Chan, Ben Wong, and Ralph Macchio in theaters in May 30th, 2025.
Nice. Excellent. Will this follow the Cobra Kai storyline, or is this a whole new on its own thing?
Now, I got to be honest with you, Steve. I ain't never seen Karate Kid, the old ones. I never seen Cobra Kai. I only seen Jackie Chan and Jaden. That's my lore.
Oh, God.
And I remember, I believe maybe it was you and some others. You said, go check out Cobra Kai. It's a good show. You'll have fun. I go to put it on, and the wife said, you can't watch this. You haven't even seen the original. And I said, well, I don't really want to watch them. No offense. And she said, you can't watch it till you watch the original. And I say, fine, I ain't watching it. So I never seen it. But I'm looking at the cover here, and it's got Jackie Chan, and it's got Ralph Macchio, and it's got a little Asian boy. So I'm just assuming that they have a kid together and make that boy. Is that fair to say?
That's
Steve?
the only yeah, it's the only logical explanation, really.
Yeah. So
It's 2024. Anything can happen now. So
yeah, and it
why
comes
not?
out 2025. Who knows what's going to happen
Who
then?
knows?
Now, another film I talked about last week, I believe, American Psycho.
Mm.
Luca Guadagnino, I'm sure that's how you pronounce his name,
Sure.
is set to direct a new adaptation of American Psycho at Lionsgate.
Ooh. Is Margot Robbie going to play the American Psycho?
Maybe so. Who knows?
They'll probably do a
Australian Psycho.
modern retelling.
Oh,
Yeah.
British
Oh,
Psycho.
sure.
I got a fun little chart graphic here from Culture Crave. It is the biggest sequel bombs to $1 billion films. There's 6 of them. Or I guess there's 3 of them here. Can you take a guess? You want to take? I'll give you 3 guesses. See if you
All
can
right.
get
So just
any
to
of them.
clarify, sequel bomb.
So the first movie made a bill.
Okay, and the second one
Bombed.
Well, right off the dome, Joker's up there.
Oh, yeah.
Joker 2.
First one made 1.08 bill on a budget of 65. The second one, budget of 200 million, made 167. Bomb.
Ooh, that's rough.
We got one Marvel and we got one, I don't know if it's Disney. Maybe it's technically Disney.
Ooh, a Marvel one?
Oh,
It's not Avengers, is it? One of the
it
Avengers?
ain't Avengers. Are you high? Are you
Is it-
dumb?
Is it Doctor Strange?
No, Marvel. The Marvels.
Oh.
Can you
should've
believe
seen that
Captain
one, yeah.
Marvel made a $1.13 billion? It's kind of surprising to me.
That is actually, yeah.
But the second one, did you see that one, Steve?
I started watching the first 10 minutes or so while I was doing laundry, and I just said I'd rather do laundry in silence.
Yeah, I agree with that. Second one, not good. Budget of 220 mil, made 206 mil.
Wow.
And the last one, Steve, Alice in Wonderland.
The first one made $1 billion?
I guess so. 1.02.
Ah.
Second one, budget of 170. It made 300 mil. So it wasn't as bad as the others, but still lost. Bombed.
Wow. I'm surprised that first one made $1 billion.
Yeah.
Because both of those are not good.
I never seen either. And don't plan to.
Yeah, definitely not missing much at all there.
Josh Brolin says, wake up, dead man. Feels more Knives Out than Glass Onion. Quote, this is so well written, we just don't read things like this anymore.
Oh, you're talking... Okay, sorry. You're talking about the third installment of the Knives Out franchise.
Yeah, of course,
Correct,
Steve.
okay.
What'd you think
Sorry,
I was
I had to-
talking about? Dewey Decimal System?
Maybe. I don't know.
Come on, Steve.
I like the first one more. So if it's more akin to that one, I'd be slightly more excited. I'm excited anyway.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest.
I thought they were both great, but yeah, I agree. I think most people prefer the first. Sony asked Netflix if they wanted to buy Harold and the Purple Crayon from them, but Netflix said, nah. If Netflix is turning you down, I think that's got to be rock bottom, man.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, I think rock bottom would be like if Tubi said no.
Oh, yeah.
One of those. They're like, we'd rather just keep having reruns of Mr. Rogers or something.
Yeah. Now, this is going to be a sleeper streamer. Chick-Fil-A streaming service has been named. Do you know what the name is?
I don't know the name. I don't know.
Chick-Fil-A Play.
Huh.
Yeah, they really thought out of the box with this one. Chick-Fil-A Play.
Yeah. How underwhelming.
Will launch November 18th. Happy winter solstice or Veterans Day or whatever that is. Good for them.
Did they say any titles that they're doing?
Well, it says the service will launch with a collection of original animated shows, scripted podcasts, cooking shows, and interactive stories.
Power to them, trying to innovate, break into a new market. I give this maybe a couple of years before they're like, commercials are done for Chick-fil-A.
What do you think a monthly cost is going to be for this service?
If they ask anything more than $5.99, it's robbery.
Yeah.
But it'd be probably closer to $14.99.
$6.99. That's my guess.
We'll report on this in December when they say unprecedented Chick-fil-A streaming services closing down due to 4 people signing up for it.
Yeah.
So how many people do you think will sign up? I doubt more than 10,000 will.
Depends if they do like a free trial or not. I could see some just... Tell me you wouldn't click on a video on YouTube that just says like I binge watched every episode on the Chick-fil-A Play. Like,
I would watch
here's
that.
My thoughts. Maybe that'll be if we get 1,000 subs, we'll watch every single thing that's on Chick-fil-A Play.
Oh man.
Tom Hardy says he's down to return to the Marvel Universe as a different character. Who would he be, Steve?
You got to put him in a villain role. Tom Hardy does that really well. Any villains? I think he would have made a good Craven back in like 10 years ago.
I think he'd still make a good Crave.
What do you think? What kind of... Are we talking Spider-Man villain, Fantastic Four, X-Men villain, maybe Mr. Sinister?
Ooh, I could get some Sinister. That would be nice.
Sure, yeah.
I like that, Steve. He's kind of... Sinister's kind of got a unique voice, a kind of a weird voice. I think Tom would fit right in there. David Lecht reveals that there was a major producer pushback on killing the puppy in John Wick. Quote, "We were told it's bad luck, it's bad juju, it's Old Yeller, you can't do this. No one will want to see this on screen. You're going to alienate the audience." Now, what do you think? Was it a good choice?
I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when David Leitch went back to the executives and crossed his arms and said, "I told you so." It had to be done, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't have John Wick at all. People would hate that. They need the reason to be on John Wick's side, and that's you get them right away.
Yeah.
Right? It had to be done.
It's just you don't see dogs or animals die in movies. You just don't expect it. You're like, oh, yeah, this guy's wife, sure, she's probably going to die. There's a 90% chance of that. Hey, his kid might even die. But I'm like, a dog? Wow, this is...
Yeah.
I was not expecting this. I remember hearing about this before I watched it, and someone was just like, yeah, no, some guy kills his dog and he goes crazy. And like, I thought he was doing a bit. I was like, are you serious? Like, it just seemed like such a kind of a weird plot. Like, if you don't watch the movies, you're just like, why are people into this? But then you're like, you watch it and you're like, I want all of these people to die painful deaths and travel through the 7 layers of hell.
Yeah.
A24 will make select movie theaters smell like blueberry during a scene in their upcoming movie Heretic.
Interesting?
I mean,
question mark?
I guess they got something to do with blueberries, but...
Oh, I know what it's in reference to. Spoiler alert. I mean, if you've seen the trailer. You've seen the trailer for Heretic?
That's the one with Hugh Grant. Creepy
Hubert Grant, yeah.
Oh,
he lights
blueberry
a candle.
pie, right, or something?
Sure, yeah. That one.
Ah.
So they'll smell blueberries for 5 minutes.
I'm just
All that work.
if this is a thing, man, imagine watching Spider-Man 3 and James Franco. Strawberries and just a woof of that throughout. Oh, yeah.
I'm not opposed to the technology, man. That sounds like
I'm sure they won't do it in my theater, but that would be cool. Liam Neeson says he plans to retire from doing action films by the end of next year. Quote, I'm 72. It has to stop at some stage.
Yeah, it should have stopped about 10 years ago, Liam.
I will admit, I don't hate a Liam Neeson film, even like his newer ones. If I'm like, I got nothing to watch, I'll put it on and I'm like, I've never been disappointed. Like, I don't really have high expectations, but I'm like, that's kind of my guilty pleasure is Liam or Jason Statham. Like, just like action plot doesn't really make sense. Don't think about it, but I'm having a good time here.
Well, that tells me you haven't seen Taken 3 then.
Oh, well, yeah, all right.
Gotcha.
I just remember that there's like a scene where he's hopping a fence or something and it just like cuts like
12 cuts or
12
something.
cuts and I'm like, all right, really no need for this. But
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth is officially in talks to star as Prince Charming in Disney's live-action Prince Charming movie.
Okay, follow-up question. Why they're making this one?
I mean, he's the Prince Charming.
Sure, I'm not opposed to seeing more Chris.
He's probably everyone's favorite crush. If you were to take a poll of random women, most of them I'd say.
He's like my third favorite Chris, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right behind you, friend.
Well, who's your second or first?
Oh, Chris Evans.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm a Chris Pratt guy.
Oh, sure.
I think it's because I was with him before everyone else was. Because I was watching Parks and Rec when he was fat. I was with him in those days. And then next thing you know, he's in Guardians of the Galaxy and everyone's craving and loving him. And I'm like, hey, man, I've been with you since the beginning. I'm a original pop head, if you will.
Yeah. Well, sorry, sidebar. Who do you think of? You got Chris Pines, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt. Of those four, who has had the best career trajectory?
Trajectory?
Like, who's had the best longevity of their career?
Probably Chris Evans?
I'd say Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's in more big boy movies.
You said longevity. Like, are you saying, like, who had the highest peak or overall who's the most famous?
Who's had the best like run of movies? Like they're all pretty good.
These are 18 different categories here, man. I mean, Chris Hemsworth was in bloody Ghostbusters, whatever, and
sure.
Men in Black 5, or but I'm like, he's famous. So what do you want from me, Steve?
I guess I don't know what I was asking.
What do you
about.
want?
I guess I just want to keep talking about Chris's, if I'm honest.
All
with
right,
you.
well let's do another 30-minute segment here. I'd say Chris Evans. He was in Cellular and the original Fantastic Four, and those are like early 2000s. Was there anything else before that, really?
He was in the movie Push or Pull.
Oh, that's like 2009.
Yeah,
and then he
was in what's it called? Sunshine.
Oh yeah,
you ever see the movie Sunshine?
Killian.
Yeah.
So those are, I think those are like 2008 to 7 to 9. And then obviously he's in Captain America, Avengers, all those. Now, I mean, he's bloody doing Christmas movies, Santa Claus, whatever.
Oh boy.
But
so his trajectory's going down a little bit, you're saying.
What else is he? He was in Knives Out.
He was in the Gray Man with Ryan Gosling. Did you ever see that?
But I heard it was decent.
It's serviceable.
It's a Netflix movie. But like Pratt, his have been like Amazon. He was in like some Amazon Tomorrow War. He's in one coming out soon, I think, on Netflix.
Oh yeah, what's with the Russo brothers?
Yeah,
it's called like the Extinction something. But I know what you're talking about.
Like, when was his last big Hollywood or like blockbuster?
Probably a Jurassic.
I guess he's always in those. Which
they
make a bunch of money. So I mean, I don't personally love them. But then I think Pine's probably the least out of all of them. Like, I like him, but like Star Trek, they haven't been doing those in a while, and he's kind of in those like the
indie kind of weirdo
and
the one Olivia movie.
Hemsworth, I don't know. Hemsworth, he was in Mad Max. What was that one? This one.
Furiosa.
He was real good in that. I think he should get an Oscar nom, if you're asking me. I thought he was outrageous. And so to answer your question, Steve, you can make a case for any of them except probably Chris Pine, if you ask me. Yeah.
Well, this has been our segment, Chris Chat.
Can't wait to talk about Steve's next week. Steve Harvey. Steve.
Name another one.
Francis Buscemi. Francis is a basketball player. Steve Nash. Yeah, there we go.
Throw some basketball players
He's probably
in there for
in
good
some
luck.
movie. A Mexican remake of The Office is in the works.
La Oficina.
Yes. So that's the thing.
Yep.
I guess they're not even waiting to see how the Australian one. They're like, oh, wait, we can do that? Sure. And I'm circling back to Jonathan Wick. Eva Longoria saved John Wick from getting canceled by putting up $6 million less than 24 hours before production started due to an unexpected gap in the film's funding. She later said it was the best money she'd ever spent.
Wow, I didn't know that about
I did not
her.
either. I mean, I never really know her from much, but now I'm a big fan. She changed my life.
Yeah, thanks, Eva.
Yeah, thank you, Eva. An Alien Romulus sequel's in the works. Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson will likely reprise their roles.
Yay.
And 20th Century Studios boss says another Alien vs. Predator film will probably happen.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, me too.
You and me, AVP. Let's go.
Ooh, that's all I got, Steve. You got anything else?
I got one more little news flash for you,
Send
Chris.
me that little nude.
It is time for none other than Glen's Corner, where I'm sitting in the corner looking at nothing but a picture of Glenn. Chris, our good friend Glenjamin Powell, big fans of the boy.
Yes.
I am proud to say this past week, a few days ago, a day of recording, was his birthday. Happy birthday, Glenn.
Wow.
Chris reached out to me. He said, I have this plan for Glen's Corner. I want to send it to you. And so we took the time. We met up earlier and recorded this song just for Glenn. And so here it is. We'll play the tape. That's Chris and I on the vocals together doing a little tribute to our good pal.
Hope you love it, Glenn.
Happy birthday, bud. We know you're listening.
How old is the lad these days? 36?
36.
Wow!
Yes.
I guessed it. Hey, good for you,
Awesome.
man. You don't look a day over 35 if you ask me.
Didn't ask you, but sure, yeah, I believe it.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Well, Chris, if that's all we have for news, I got a question for you. And that question is, what you been watching, my friend?
Well, Steve, I went to the theater. I saw a flick. Goodrich.
Can I guess?
Yes, go ahead and guess.
Did you say Goodrich?
Yeah, how did you know?
Well, you know, psychic.
You heard of this film? Yeah.
No, what is it?
So it's got Michael Keaton. He is a father.
Oh.
It's got Mila Kunis. She is a daughter. Basically, it's Michael Keaton. His wife checks into rehab, and he's stuck raising the two kids. He's married a younger lad, or gal, I should say, a younger lady. And she's checked into rehab, so he's got to parent these two twins that he's got, these two like 8-year-olds. And he's a workaholic. He's basically got to change all his priorities. So he's like, all right, we got to, take more days off work, take the kids to school, pick them up, go to back to school and all that. He goes from the kind of neglectful, busy at work dad to, turning into the father of the year with these kids because he's kind of have to. And then you got Mila Kunis, his daughter from his first marriage, who's older, and it's kind of showing their relationship. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty fun film. It's kind of I'm a sucker for those kind of dramas where they make you feel good, make you maybe shed a tear. I didn't really shed a tear in this one, but I could have if I really wanted to,
Is it a dramedy or has some lighthearted moments?
Yeah, it's a dramedy. Nothing too serious. Nothing super funny, but I had a few chuckles here and there, and I enjoyed it. I think I'd stand up, give that 5 minutes. Standing O.
Nice.
It's not one I'd say go watch in a theater or anything, but if it's on Netflix or something and you're into those kind of things, put it on.
Sure.
And then I saw a film called Smile Dois.
Smile as well.
Yes.
Verdict, Christopher?
It's everything I hate in a horror film. Like, I don't know. I almost left because you know me. What do I hate in horror films, Steve? Can you tell me?
You hate illogical people who make dumb decisions.
True.
You hate unnecessary jump scares.
True.
You hate flashback or vision sequences.
True.
Any of those in there?
Yes. All of those.
Wow.
Exactly. And
Oof.
I hate the people going crazy and like, oh, is this in their, this is all in their head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The whole plot is like there's some demon thing. It's kind of like The Ring, where it's like if it kills itself in front of you, and if you see it, the demon's now on to you, and you have 7 days, and basically everyone has a creepy smile like that. You remember that film Truth or Dare? Did you watch that with us back in college?
Yeah, I watched that with you.
And they have that stupid smile, Truth or Dare, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's basically that type of movie. And
there's always some demon.
And they're just
tricking
smiling.
people.
And it's like, you know, this person is crazy. And it's one of those like, oh, I saw they were there. And then it cuts to the, oh, everyone's like, no one's smiling at you. You're crazy. I hate it more because it's literally just like one person possessed. There's no real stakes in the movie because most horror films is like a group of friends. And you're like, all right, well, obviously this black guy is going to die first. She's probably going to die. We'll see. Maybe these people will live. But this one, it's literally like either she will live at the very end or she will die. And you have like an hour and a half of just stupid jump scares that like aren't really like there's no rhyme or reason behind it. Cause I'm like, well, she's not going to die with 50 minutes left in the movie. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, this is stupid. I hated it. So that one, I'm standing up. Boo, boo.
Hiss.
5 minutes of boo. And I really did not like it, Steve.
We're going to have to, at the end of the year, do like a worst horror movies because you've seen so many.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to do a top 10 best films of the year, top 10 worst, because boy, do I got a list.
I bet you got some, yeah.
So that one, no good. And then I've been watching, here's heard of the show Them?
Them.
I think it's called Them.
No, who's in it?
Walt! You know what I'm talking?
What?
Walt! Where's my boy, Walt?
I don't know what you're
From
talking
Lost,
about.
the black guy looking for his kid.
Oh.
Walt! Is that his name,
Okay,
Walt?
yeah. That sounds right, sure.
I'm just making up a name here. He's like the only one I recognize. We watched season 1 and 2 last year, and season 3 came out.
Wait, do you mean the show From?
Oh, yeah, From. That's what I mean.
Okay, that's okay, yeah.
Them,
I've
From,
seen
what's the difference?
a couple of letters.
Yeah.
You got some of them in there.
All right. Have you seen From?
I've seen some recap videos and I started watching it, but it was too late at night and my wife's like, this is too scary. So we didn't watch it anymore. But I've heard nothing but good things. It's kind of like from the makers of Lost and
really?
What Lost should have been, kind of, yeah.
Well, to me, I was actually going to compare it to Lost because basically the premise of it, I guess you probably know, but it's like these people, they drive and they get stuck in a town where it's like, you can't leave. No matter, you try and drive away and it just circles back and you're just stuck in this town. And then when it's nighttime, these creatures come out at night and they try and kill you. Like I Am the Legend style. And then it's daytime and it's like, oh, why are we trapped in this town? How are we here? You know? And so I'd say the first season really hooks you. Like we were like, this is good. Yeah, we binged the first in like a week. And then the second season, it's kind of, did you ever finish Lost? Do you watch Lost?
Oh, sure. I loved it in the time that it was out, and I was a big fan.
Did you like the whole show or?
Not the whole show.
Yeah. It's similar to that because in Lost, I remember you watch the beginning and it gets you hooked. You're like, what's this monster in the woods? What's going on here? And the first like 2 or 3 seasons, you're just on the edge of your seat. I can't wait to watch. That was kind of like this first season, but then it's like it gets more into like the backstory and then these random things here and there, and
it's too mysterious.
It's just kind of, we only watched the first episode of season 3, but I remember season 2 as just like, not as into it. If the show started like this, I probably would just stop, but it's one of those like, we're already 2 seasons in.
Yeah, you gotta see how it
plow through here.
Out.
Kind of like that was how like The Walking Dead was. We're like, whoa, we've gone 9 seasons.
Oh, geez. If you stood out for
We
The
did
Walking
it.
Dead,
By
hats
golly,
off to
we
you.
went the whole thing here, man.
Wow,
And
good job. Congratulations.
if I was watching by myself, I wouldn't. Like this show, I wouldn't probably watch. But one of the rare shows I'll watch with the wife, and she's into, and I, so I'm like, if I had another person to watch with, I keep through. But if it's just me, so I'm only on episode 1 there. So far, not amazing, I'd say. I'll let you know if we keep going. And then we watched both the Venom movies, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
you
I know.
You bugger.
My
You
wife, she
absolute
loves
bugger.
those movies. And so we put them on. First one is pretty good, actually. Like, I remember not hating it as much as everyone else. I remember going to the theater. I'm pretty sure I watched it in the theater with you, and you did not like it, if I recall.
I did not like it. I leaned over to you and I was like, that was dog water.
Yeah, I think I remember. I remember, like, I wasn't that excited to watch it, and I think that was Movie Pass days, so it's like I didn't really spend any money, and I was like, that was better than I thought it'd be, honestly. And then I watched it again, similar. I'm like, it's fun, lighthearted, and it's not, like, super funny or anything, but I was like, yeah, it's pretty fun. I'd probably stand up, give that 4 minutes, standing O. And then we watched the second one, Let There Be Carnage. And I think this one I had more of your reaction because I remember watching this in theaters a couple of years back. And I was actually excited to watch it because I'm like, Woody Harrelson, Carnage, like that's, pretty exciting. And then watched it in theaters and I was just like, that wasn't that great. Like it wasn't the worst. And that's kind of how I still felt here. It was one of those, like I started watching, then I was like, I kind of got to do some other things. So I kind of zoned out towards the end. So it didn't exactly watch the whole thing, but that's more of like a 1 minute standing O for me. Nothing crazy, not the worst. But yeah, that's all I've been watching. Steve, how about you, my friend?
I watched one movie, my wife and I, on the Netflix, a little flick called Woman of the Hour. Have you heard of it?
Sounds kind of familiar.
I think it came out this week on Netflix. Anna Kendrick, directorial debut. Yeah, loosely based on the true story of Rodney Alcala, who was a serial killer. In the midst of his killing spree, went on a dating show, went on a date with the gal, and this is like the movie version of it, basically. So yeah, Anna Kendrick's first time. She is the titular woman of the hour. It was good, but then the more I thought about it, the more my wife and I talked about it, we kind of kept seeing apart. Cracks and holes. And yeah, it was proposed as a thriller, but there weren't many thrilling parts to it. Not many edge of your seat moments, and it was very oddly paced. Do you know Pete Holmes, the comedian?
Yes.
Yeah, he's in it.
Really?
Pretty thankless role, just blink and you'll miss it kind of guy. And then there's a few others scattered here and there, but it wasn't that good. It felt like kind of a half of a movie. I'm sure you'll probably like it better than me, but I just felt like it didn't understand what it wanted to be like, because it takes creative liberties from telling the true story aspect, and it's kind of like jumps and skips in time, and it just goes kind of messy. Didn't quite like it that much, so I'm just kind of maybe stand up for a half a minute and clap kind of deal.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, if that's all we have, shall we just dive into the main course of this episode?
Yes, I'd love to, Steve.
All right, we're talking Venom, The Last Dance, and we're going to be going into just some basic plot details, giving us a good rating, and then diving into some spoilers. And if you want to jump and skip around to the spoiler section, we won't spoil anything with those first couple of minutes. But Chris, you want to break it down for us?
Yeah, let me break it down here. Takes place after Venom 2, believe it or not. And Tom Hardy's in Mexico with Venom and that
Danny Rojas.
And he's on the run from the police because if you've seen the second one, there's chaos and carnage that happens at the end, and he's getting blamed for a murder, which he did not commit.
For Donnie Wahlberg? Right?
Was it? I don't think it was a Wahlberg. He looked kind of.
I think it's a Wahlberg. That's a Wahlberg.
Oh, is it? It looks like
I'm
a Wahlberg. I'm
going to let you research it and prove me right.
It's not. It's Stephen Graham, I believe.
Well, then I stand corrected.
Whoever this Stephen Graham, maybe. Yeah, I think it's this Graham fella. But there's these aliens that are trying to get him from outer space, and there's also military people trying to get him, and Is this his last dance? We'll
Let's
see.
tune down your enthusiasm here, Christopher.
Yes. I think that's about, I mean, without spoiling, he goes to Vegas at one point, Area 51.
Not much going on, to be honest, but did you like this better or worse than the other two?
I thought it was better than the second one, maybe better. It's more on par with that. The first one I liked the best. I wasn't a huge fan of this, but I wasn't a huge fan of the second one.
So your order is probably 1, 3, 2.
Yeah,
then?
I'd say so. What's your order
Fair
here?
enough. I'm not a huge fan of this franchise as a whole, TBH, but I'd probably go 3, 1, 2.
Oh, wow.
I thought this one was the better of all of them, and maybe it's because I'm recently by.
Oh,
and I haven't seen the first two in a while because someone didn't want to watch them last week.
It's okay. You have your opinions, and I apologize. We could have done an episode on them, but
I'd probably give this maybe standing up for 2 or 3 minutes clapping. If I had to.
That seems fair.
I'd say it's better than whatever Marvel's been churning out for the last 2 years or so.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like if you like the Venom movies, it's in the same arena, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty unapologetic. It's super weird. Just does its own thing. Doesn't really care if you like it or not. It's like full throttle on the whole buddy cop kind of deal with him and Venom, which I think is the strengths of this movie. If you like the first 2 Venoms, then you probably like this one. So if you want to go see it and nobody's got a gun to your head, go see it.
Yeah. Should we go into the spoilies here, Steve?
Let's dive into the spoilies. So it starts off, opens up on a World of Warcraft cutscene at Venom's planet. Did you like that?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, whatever that was.
So the main villain is Null, who is he's a real bully on the Venom planet, and all the Venoms put him in this hole that Null lives in.
What is he? Is he like, because he's not a symbiote or anything.
He's just a dude, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know the lore of those comics. He's the villain, and I guess he wants to escape his hole that the Venoms put him in. And in order to escape, he's got to have the Codex, which is the MacGuffin, the key that will unlock his chains or whatever. And guess who is the key to unlocking him? Venom.
They say Venom and Tom Hardy, aka Eddie Brock, have the Codex because they died in the last movie at the end, and then they came back to life. So now they have a Codex. Did they ever explain? Like how that?
I think that's about as much explanation as I was given.
Because I was like, I just watched the last one and like
the first one. He dies in the first one, and Venom brings him back to life.
But then why weren't they doing it in the last one? They just decide later.
As the director, we had only so many choices.
All right. My bad.
Mr. Null sends out all of his goons, his greasy, grimy little Starship Trooper monsters out to Earth to find this Codex, and they can only see the Codex. Like, they have this specific Daredevil type vision. And so when Venom comes out in his full form, they see it on him. It's like a tracker, and they run amok and find him and whatever. And so it's kind of a chase scene, the whole movie. The military's after them because they think that he killed that cop from the last movie. And they're also after him because the nerds in Area 51 want to spy on him and get his juices for science. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The shenanigans ensue. They go to Vegas. They meet Miss Chen. They dance. And they meet up with homeless hippies.
Yeah. Hightower. There's like
stuff.
An Area 51 family that are in an RV and traveling. They're all believe in aliens. And then you got Keely
Jones.
With her. Did her accent just sound like off to you? Or was that just me? I don't know if it's because I'm used to her having a British voice, but it sounded like Valley Girl kind of, and I'm just like, is this?
I think that's why I've seen 3 seasons of her doing the thick British accent, so when it's not, so I couldn't tell you if it was a good accent or not. I've only lived in America for 30 years.
Yeah, it was odd, and I didn't like it. And
yeah, it was weird.
Her character, so a lot of these, I'm like, is there a bunch of Venom comic lore and such? Do you know any Venom lore?
Oh, geez. There's probably a Venom lore as much as there is like a Five Nights at Freddy's lore, which is to say a treasure trove.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole nerd encyclopedia about it that I don't even know about. But everyone's getting their Venoms now.
Yeah, because her backstory is she had a brother and they were walking on a beach or something, and then lightning struck her and she was holding hands with her brother, and I guess it went through her and just killed him. And she lost her arm, I guess, from that. So she is interested in the symbiotes and she's a scientist. And then they catch Tom Hardy and they're like, well, these evil aliens, if they get the codex, they're going to come to Earth. We're screwed. And so their idea is we got to either kill Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock, or we got to kill Venom, and then it'll get rid of the codex. So they capture him. Just when they're about to kill him, the aliens show up, and then they start fighting, and then they team up to kill the aliens. And Venom sacrifices himself and
just like Ron Weasley at that chess game.
Oh, yeah. Knight to E4, except with acid going all over him. And he dies, and the world's saved, and Eddie Brock's all by himself, and he goes, visits the Statue of Liberty, and it has this whole montage, like this is Lord of the Rings, Return of the
Venom
King.
Memoriam. Yeah.
Like this is an amazing trilogy of, it's like, I imagine like Fast 7 with Paul Walker and them, but it's like Venom. And I'm like,
extremely unearned.
Yeah. I was just like, am I really supposed to be like sad? Like you're making it sound like this is like Godfather Part 3 here, And, but they do that and then it ends and I didn't understand either of the post-credit scenes, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah. So there's two. The mid-credit scene, it's Null and he's just like really bad CG and he's like, I'm going to come back. I'm coming back for you, baby.
That CG, it looked so bad. Like it looked like I was playing like StarCraft or Warcraft and they have like a cutscene and I was just like, really? That's it? You have a $120 million budget and this is what you're doing here?
Yeah, so that was dumb. And then the post-credit sequence was, I think, in my mind, the most pointless.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, what it is Danny Rojas comes out of the cave because he was in the cave, the Area 55 underground. After he sees all the destruction, he walks out and he's like, hello, is anyone there? And then walks away and you see a cockroach and that's it. Did I miss anything else? Or
I guess we skipped this. So Keely, Lightning Lady, she has this like purple vial with her and she just like crushes it and then she turns into the Flash basically. She's got super speed.
Purple Flash, yeah.
Got some dreadlocks on her. So I'm guessing she was into studying the symbiote, so maybe she can make this type of superpower and then she can use her arm. But I think that was like the first time she'd ever used it. They don't really explain any of that. And then there's also a scene where the aliens are fighting and there's a bunch of symbiotes they had catched and then they're like, oh, we need their help. So they release them all and the symbiotes just like whoever the person next to them they just attach to and that person gets the different symbiote powers and there's like a purple one, a green one, whatever. But at the very end, I just remember it showed like the little vial that Keely had. But,
and the cockroach went into the little, like it like had a lightning thing, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. I watched it like 2 hours ago, but this is all foreign to me, Steve. Maybe if you're into the lore, you're like, oh, that's, Venom 369. Oh, that's Venom 69 here. That's blah, blah, blah. And I didn't even know any of them was a thing. I didn't know what this Flash Lady is. It doesn't really explain none of this. And I wasn't super into it.
Yeah, let's do some cons here. So they were kind of painted into a picture a little bit because last time we saw Tom Hardy, he was in Spider-Man No Way Home. You remember that bit where he's in Mexico and he's like, and so they thought to themselves, they're like, what's the least amount of work we need to do to like just put him back where he was and just forget this whole thing ever happened? And the answer is just literally suck him back into his world, no questions asked, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's neither here or there. The first like few minutes were like really kind of messy in my opinion. Like it didn't start off strong at all. It was like the Null guy started off and then Tom Hardy there and then he's just kind of like wandering about and then you got Keely Jones being a nerd about science. It wasn't very engaging the first act at all. I have here in my notes Area 51 has very liberal safety codes. Because, I mean, they're demolishing Area 51, but there's a part where Chiwetel Ejofor just turns on some hydrochloric acid faucets. Do you remember that bit? And just like, he's like 5 feet from it. Just like this shower just onto these trucks. And I was like, oh, wow, there. Yeah, I mean, OSHA's not here, so who gives a care? But
Yeah.
still, I mean, yeah. There's some actors in here. I feel like most of these actors are better than this. Tom Hardy's definitely better than this. Like, I get people want to have some fun roles or whatever, but I feel like wasted talent is the phrase that comes to mind. And Otto Hightower, definitely better. This is beneath him, acting-wise. Yeah. I have here, I know it's interesting strategy to have the main villain of your movie do nothing short of sitting in a chair the whole time.
Yep. Get them.
And grunt.
I'll get you next time.
That's not an exaggeration. Chris was... Yeah. Did you play a Chris in the movie, Christopher?
He's like Inspector Gadget, the villain or whatever, in the cartoon. Like, I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Yeah. So that's another qualm. There isn't really a central villain to this. Like, you have the military people and you got the nerds and the science labs. They're not bad people. Like, the military guys, he's like, yeah, let's kill this thing because we don't want aliens coming to our planet.
Yeah.
And you got the henchmen, gelatinous kind of blobs running amok in Nevada, but the central villain isn't participating. He's sat down on the sidelines, and so there isn't really much to gravitate towards. I would have liked to see Venom versus Null, just, if it's not asking too much, you know? Like,
that's crazy, man.
One more, it's not con. I just thought it was funny that looking back on these films, I'm convinced that the writers of these movies were just relentlessly bullied as kids, and they held onto their vendettas, and they said, one day I'm going to write a movie where the protagonist gets bullied by some guys, and he's going to say, don't make me pull out my lethal projector.
I'm giving you a chance here.
Giving you
Doing
a chance.
this for you.
Yeah, it happens like 3 or 4 times in this franchise where Tom Hardy's backed into a corner and he's like, you wouldn't like me with my lethal projector out here. What is lethal protector? Yeah, that happens once or twice in this movie.
Well, Steve, I looked it up actually because I was curious. Director Kelly Marcel was the directorial debut, but she's written some other interesting films, including 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah.
You can definitely see the essence of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. So her first Saving Mr. Banks, and then she went straight to 50 Shades. And then
as you do in Hollywood.
And then she did the 2 Venoms, and now she's directing this.
Wow, what a resume.
I know. I'd say, for a directorial debut, I'd say it's fine,
Sure, yeah. What cons do you have?
Since I just rewatched them in the first Venom movie, so that one, you got whatever that villain.
Riot.
He's trying to get the symbiotes to, like, the main problem for the first hour of the movie is, like, none of these symbiotes will attach to a human unless, like, the human will die, like, immediately. They have to find the perfect host, and then Tom Hardy breaks in, and it's just like a perfect match, right? That was like the main plot for the first one. In this one, it's just like all the symbiotes, just whoever the person next to him, they go there, and it's just like, oh, I can fight. I'm perfectly fine here. I'm fighting. And they just like, I don't care anymore. Well, don't look too much into that whole thing. So that didn't make sense. I wish they would have had like a normal, non-alien villain. Space on space, I prefer like a space on Earth kind of a villain. You know what I mean? Because you got this alien thing. First movie, he fights Riot, and basically the same Venom. All right. Second one, he fights Carnage. Basically a stronger version of himself again. And then this one, he's fighting a bunch of space aliens. I'm like, you could have just taken one of Spider-Man's villains, say, Vulture's flying around and, he's fighting Vulture. Yeah. Like something like that, I feel like would have been a lot better than space things, personally.
Yeah, agreed. Also, I got a con. Would it be too much to ask? I know I've asked a lot already, but could we have the main fight at the end take place in daylight so I could see what's going on?
No, man. You don't think she wrote 50 Shades of Grey, not 50 Shades of White here, Steve?
No, I found it I was just getting frustrated because you got all these Venoms, different shades, different colors and powers, and they're all sat behind a brown, mucky backdrop in a dark sky, maybe some flames here and there. It's just it's giving me Game of Thrones, Battle of Winterfell vibes a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Another con I had was half the time when Venom talks, I can't understand what he's saying. Is that a me thing?
That's not you, pal.
So I'm like,
that's not you at all.
It sounds like maybe it was supposed to be funny, but I only understand like half of the sentence he said here,
Yeah.
But that's all the main cons I got. Should we move into the pros? Because I got so many of those.
Oh, okay. Tell me your pros.
I didn't get super bored.
Sure.
The runtime is 1 hour, 50 minutes, but it didn't feel that long. And did you stayed for the post credits, right? Did those credits feel like they were like 15 minutes long for you, or is that just me? I was just like...
Yes, because my wife went to the bathroom. She's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. And she waited outside and texted me. She's like, are you done? Like, because she thought I had been in the car. I was like, no, I'm still waiting for the credits. Like, they were long.
Yeah, it was like a good 3-4 minutes till they do the first credit scene. And then it's... I swear it's 10 minutes until the end one. It's long, but I'm on my phone because it's credits. Who cares, you know? But the movie itself, I feel like, was probably like an hour 30 or something like that, you know? So that was pretty quick.
I love me some Tom. You know,
yes.
He's got kind of 2, maybe 3 constant emotions in this, which is manic insanity. Which, did you just see what happened to me? I just fell out of a plane. You know, that one. And then, oh, I'm so sorry, Venom. I'm so sorry you had to die. I'm so sorry I died.
I'm so sorry. All I could say is I'm sorry.
He was good. I like his physicality, you know, when he's like, acts like he's being controlled by Venom. I feel like that takes some talent to do. Make it look like somebody's controlling your body.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. A little plastic man. I'm all about diversity in a cast, Chris, and I love seeing the different colors of Venom.
Oh, yeah.
I actually liked seeing that. You got green, you got blue.
That's true.
You got brown, you got orange, you got purple.
Where's the red?
He decided not to show up on the day of filming.
All right, fair enough.
No, but I like that bit where they're all different colors and they have their little Avengers stand in attendance line, you know, fun moment. And I thought that was pretty fun. Would have been better if I could see most of it, but
I do have another
I like the
qualm
idea behind
real
it.
quick, if I can, that just popped up.
Sure. What is it?
So they have like all of these shooting guns, these symbiotes are fighting them. And it eventually he shoots a rocket and it kind of blows it up, but then it regenerates. And then it's just like Keely's driving like a van and it runs through and just like completely breaks it.
Yeah, explodes. She's going like 30 miles an hour,
I'm
maybe.
just like, what is the logic here?
I thought you were going to say the military just couldn't get it through their heads that the guns can't kill them. That's very frustrating in movies. They're like, shoot the alien. Yeah. You're like, obviously, whatever guns you have, it won't kill him, so just run away.
Yeah.
That, oof. Chiwetel, I thought you were better than that.
Yeah,
but
sorry. Back to the pros.
Back to the pros. That's it?
Yeah. All right.
That's all I
Fair
had
enough.
for pros.
That's all I got too, Steve.
It was fine. I won't go back to this, to be honest with you.
Not until they have a second dance, if you know what I mean. Then I'll rewatch all 3.
I thought for sure they were setting up for a cameo of Tom Holland, because at the beginning, Venom's like, oh, I'd really like to see New York City. And then Venom's like, or Tom Hardy's like, yeah, we'll go to New York. I know a guy in Brooklyn owes me some pizza, owes me a gabagool. Didn't make it to New York.
Yeah, so sad.
So I thought for sure he would have been like, bumped into Tom and been like, hey, how are you? Something.
Hey, Venom.
And then that would have built into whatever Tom Hardy's movie is. But the problem is they kind of screwed themselves with the whole Venom character. I guess more people are privy to multiverse crap and all this garbage, but if Tom Holland's Spider-Man ever introduces a Venom, most normies will be like, where's Tom Hardy? Why isn't Tom Hardy here? I thought Tom Hardy was Venom and now this is a different Venom. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I think that's all I got, Christopher.
Let's just cut it here. Let's end the formalities. Subscribe to LinkedIn. Watch us on Grindr. Go to Farmers Only, Facebook Market.
Sure. If you feel privy, if you want to see us keep the lights on, go head over to Patreon, donate to us. We are this close to losing our funding.